Good morning and welcome to the Real Prosperity Project. My name is Tanisha Tearing and this is
Charlene Maidman.
Woo Woo. We are here. Poor Charlene is sick, but she is with us today because we love you, our viewers and audience, and we wanted to keep up the schedule for you, especially since we have an amazing guest today. I am so grateful that he was able to join us today. He has some really great knowledge for all of you. He is an amazing mentor in my life and in Charlene's life. We both look up to him both in business and in his family life. He is absolutely just an incredible father and an incredible husband. He puts his all into everything he does. And yeah, Charlene, why don't you help introduce him?
Yeah, this is really amazing, you guys. So this young fella I met back in, oh gosh, it's got to be 6 years now, Justin.
Been 6 years,
And
Charlene.
yeah, like holy cow. It was integral moment in my life because I was looking to expand my knowledge, and somebody suggested Justin and his lovely wife Grace, somebody to talk to, and they live in Kelowna, BC. So we did. We chit chatted. We actually went to their office, kind of interviewed each other, more him than me. He interviewed me more than him. And you know what? We ended up moving to Kelowna, so I get mentored by this guy. And let me tell you, he is relentless, but at the same time, like he's just so loving at the same time, but just like so relentless. Like you got to do the do to get the do, if that makes sense. And that's what I love this guy so much for, is because he is bare bones honest. He tells you how it is, but at the same time gives you a big bear hug. It's crazy. And what I'm excited about today, and Justin can tell us a little bit more about his story, but what I'm excited about is here's a guy that did all the right things. He came from a really good family, went to high school, played hockey, went and got that secondary education and got the job, right? So what I'm excited about today is to hear the good things, the pros, the cons of the corporate world versus the pros, the cons of the entrepreneurial world, and a reflection of what if I stayed corporate compared to going entrepreneurial? How would that have affected his family life, his career life, and just give us some guidance over that. Hey, Tanisha, what do you think?
Yeah, the one and only Justin Fraser, and I am so excited to hear from him. Our today's title is going to be Hacking a Multiple Six-Figure Income, and this is definitely the man to share that with you. He has worked so hard and hit some major goals in his career and his personal life. And so I'm just going to pass it over to you, Justin. Why don't you tell us a bit about yourself, where you're from, what you're currently doing, and then we'll get into it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Charlene. Thank you so much, Tanisha. Man, that was a great introduction. As each of these ladies talked about, my name is Justin Fraser. I'm a senior partner with World Financial Group. I've been with the company now coming on a decade. And Charlene, you and I have been working together for like 7, almost 8 years now. And the amazing thing is, I found this company while I was going through kind of a rough patch in my career. I did everything that I was told to do after high school. I was told to go get a university degree and not get a useless degree. I got one in accounting and finance. So I thought that after university, getting my awesome degree, getting all of my education, walking out into the real world, getting a job would be a piece of cake. But I graduated in 2008, 2009. And if anybody that has been around during that time remembers, it was a rough time to get a job. So,
That was a crazy time. 2008, 2009, kind of reflecting on almost today.
yeah. And so I walked out with this piece of paper, $50,000 of student loans, thinking that I was going to go attack the world, go find my dream job, get paid what I'm worth. And everyone was looking for experience. I had no experience. I had a piece of paper. Couldn't find any work here in Kelowna, put out hundreds of resumes, anything in that field that was remotely even close to what I kind of wanted to do. I was willing to start out at the bottom in order to work my way up into a position, but I couldn't find any work here in Kelowna. So it was either Vancouver or Calgary. I decided Calgary had some better options, better standard of living, and I moved out that way. And it wasn't much different in Calgary, to be perfectly honest. Put hundreds of resumes out. I finally landed a job. It was vendor auditing. So I was in charge of auditing like Procter Gamble, all of the meat for Superstore and that type of stuff. Found millions and millions of dollars. Was getting paid minimum wage, but found millions and millions of dollars for this company.
That's
Wow.
crazy.
And it was nuts, right? I got paid absolutely nothing, and then eventually I landed what I thought was my forever job in the oil and gas industry at TransCanada Pipelines. It was a good job, good career. Thought I was going to work there for the rest of my life, but there were a couple things that I never got taught about in school. They never taught me about corporate politics and all of that type of stuff. So I found out it was more about who you knew than what you knew there. I got passed over for promotions. I found out I was making 25 to 50% less than my coworkers. And I just didn't think after a while that corporate life was going to be for me. I'm an entrepreneur by trade. My parents are entrepreneurs. And I knew that I always wanted to be my own boss, dictate my own schedule, have control of time. I knew that I wanted a family at some point in time in my life. And I knew that I wanted the flexibility that being an entrepreneur would give me. And I ran into this company, and it was started out part-time. World Financial Group started out part-time for about 6 months. Made a very decent part-time income, 2 to 3 grand a month, part-time, while still working my full-time job in the oil and gas industry. And then fast forward 6 months in, I made a decision that I was going to hop in full-time and start my transition and quitting my job. But I got beat to the punch. And my company laid me off with 1,000 other people. And I was just like, I took my severance package, ran off skipping, excited, a little bit sad, a little bit scared, and hopped in and placed a bet on myself and hopped into my true potential. And fast forward 10 years working with the company, working with the firm, I can truly say I'm living my dream life. We have a multiple six-figure income with the company. We're approaching very quickly a seven-figure business within the company. We get to travel. We get to work wherever we want. I never miss a hockey practice, gymnastics practice, anything along those lines for my children. And that's what I wanted to base my career on. And I'm not even 40 yet. What I'm really excited about is what the next decade looks like for us and our company and our firm here in the Okanagan Valley.
So yeah, that's amazing, Justin. Like I've seen you build something really with you and Grace. Just you and Grace started, and then I just happened to pop along, and then it just grew from there. Not saying that, of course, it was me that helped you. No, just kidding. But I want to ask you a question. So you said become an entrepreneur, and now you like flexibility, freedom of time, and I think there's a misconception on that because people are like, "Oh, I'm my own boss. I'm my own CEO, and I could just come and go as I please." Is that true? Do you just get to come and go as you please, like set your own hours? Like, come on, let's be real. Let's talk about the actual grind of
I
being an
mean,
entrepreneur.
yeah, no. I mean, my bank account ultimately is, and also my wife, I guess, a little bit as well, is the ultimate decider of how much time and effort I put into things. Now, when I got started in business, I didn't have the control of time that I have now. and I still don't have the control of time that I kind of want to, because a lot of my business over the last year and a lot of my income has been active income. When I work, I get paid very well for what I do. But when I'm not working, I'm not quite at the point in place in my career where that's coming to fruition. But let's not joke around. Like when I was getting started in the business, my first 7 years in the business, I worked 70 to 80 hours a week. I still deal with the fact if I don't work a 12-hour day, I say some pretty mean things to myself in the back of my head. And I'm starting to get that to quiet down. But I have no problem working 12 hours a day for my dreams, my family, my dream life. And when I was working, I don't know, 8, 10, 12 hours a day for somebody else's dream in a corporation, that actually scolded me because I was working probably about 60-ish hours a week on average. They were paying me for 40, so they had a good deal. But they said I was doing my job inefficiently, even though I put in the extra 20 hours of work to get ahead and do whatever needed to be done so that hopefully I could get promoted. But with our company and firm, I don't have to worry about that. I know exactly what I need to do to get promoted. I know exactly what I need to do to make money, get my bonuses, all of that type of stuff with the company. And so, yeah, I mean, when it came down to it, I worked like an animal. I treated this like a job. I was 40 to 60 hours minimum weekly. I worked 7 days a week. Probably about 3 years ago, I stopped working Sundays and decided, hey, that's going to be God's day. That's going to be my family day. And I started having a little bit more control of time
So
just
you
because now I have 10 years in the industry.
so you'd say up front you had to do some sacrifices
Of course.
as an
I mean,
entrepreneur.
it wasn't a sacrifice. It was me building my dream life.
And it's so crazy because, okay, let's say you're at your corporate job working for the man and you had to work a weekend, and everybody's like, oh, yeah, this is part of the industry. And it's so funny because when we work as an entrepreneur, we're like, oh, well, I'm working Wednesday night and Sunday afternoon. And people are like, what? Why would you do that? Like the mindset is so opposite.
Absolutely. I mean, the amazing thing is I have the ability. If I'm working a weekend, I'm probably not working Thursday or Friday or something along those lines. And
Yeah.
that's when I take my kid out of school because I have the ability to do that. And we go skiing on Thursday or Friday. We're one of only 5 people on the ski hill, whereas everyone else is taking time off on Saturday, Sunday,
Yeah.
and you got to wait 30, 40 minutes in lineups to go skiing. I don't ski on the weekends. I don't enjoy it. There's too many people, there's too many lineups, but I have the ability and flexibility. If I'm working a weekend, I don't feel conflicted taking a Friday or Thursday off, taking my son up skiing and having that day.
And that's, yeah. So now, like, if you stayed corporate and you have your family that you have today, like, how different would that look for you?
I mean, it's crazy. Kind of the next level in promotions is going into the field, being more up in Fort McMurray, and not that I mean I don't really want to go go up there ever again. But it was something. I mean, it scares me, and it was something that I would never do. Um, but I mean, I just love the fact that we get to have flexibility in our schedule. I mean, I coach my son's hockey. I'm at every gymnastics for my youngest. The second that I have the ability to coach my youngest as well, Julian,
Yeah.
I will be coaching him as well, and I'll be coaches on 2 teams or assistant coaching, right? But that's the amazing flexibility of it. If I was working in a corporate job, I don't know if I'd have that flexibility. I'd maybe be able to have a little bit, maybe,
Yeah.
depending on how good of buddy buddy I am with the boss. But at the end of the day, if my job is to be there from 9 to 5, I'm there from 9 to 5.
Yeah. You know what, Justin? I love what you're saying. It sounds like moving from corporate to your entrepreneurial journey and building your dream life and your business, you know, that work up front has really allowed you to enrich your life now. And I've kind of experienced that myself just in 3 years of being here. Like, for example, you said skiing with your kids on a Thursday or Friday versus the weekend, and having that whole space to yourself where you can actually enjoy that time. I just did that this week with my son. Instead of planning a weekend trip, we went up on Tuesday with his whole class and we had the ski hill to ourselves. It was 3 kids to one instructor. So they got that enriched program that they wouldn't have gotten on the weekend. We got to experience that enriched life. So, what other areas in your life have been enriched from putting in that work up front?
I mean, the enormous amount of all expense paid trips that we've been with the company. That's some
Yeah.
of it, all the
You want to mention
recognition
where you just
awards.
were? Do you want to mention where you just went with all expense paid trip, by the way?
Well, we just got back from Costa Rica. We were there for a week, me and my sweetheart. We were there for 7 days, all expense paid, down in Costa Rica. We were on catamaran cruises, volcano, surfing the volcanoes, all of that type of stuff, walking through the forests. We saw some of the most deadly snakes in the world, pit vipers. We did mud baths. We were in the hot springs, just world class experiences that I get to go with this company. Then on top of that, I mean, we also have a three-ish week, almost 4 week trip planned to Vietnam.
Yeah.
And the amazing thing is with that, I'm going to still be able to do a little bit of work. I'll be getting up at 6 in the morning Vietnam time, which I think is 3 or 4 BC time. I'll do some appointments in the morning, and by noon Vietnam time, I'm going to be able to spend the day with my children. Obviously, won't be doing it every day, but I still got to work every once in a while, and I still got a team to lead, and I don't have the system quite built yet where I could walk away for 3 4 months and have
Time.
my income grow.
And that's something too, you guys, people listening and tuning in today. There is many different fields of entrepreneurship. Sorry for the cold. But like I think back to like Justin, your mom and dad, maybe their situation a little bit different right now, but it probably similar to my mom and dad where they were tied to the brick and mortar of that business. And if they stepped away from their business to go on their buying trips or maybe a family vacation for like 4 days, like they have to hire the people to put in place for them to go do that. Where we get to train and develop people to run their own business while we are still running our business, but we can still step away, and we don't really need somebody to run our particular business is what I'm trying to say. If you're tied to that brick and mortar business, hey,
Yeah. Yeah,
like
no.
how hard was it for your mom and dad in the really beginning to ever do anything?
Well, they didn't travel very much in the
Exactly.
beginning.
Yeah. Same with my parents.
Took them a
Mhm.
very long time to have the staff and the
Yeah.
ability to walk away from it. If they did travel, they were lucky that they had a business partner that was able to help them out while they were gone, and they set that up. But yeah, for the first little bit, there wasn't a lot of traveling for my family.
No.
No, I know that was one of the things that definitely came up for me when I wanted to own my own food service business. I really wanted to have a food truck. And I couldn't imagine being there from 5 a.m. till midnight every single day, cooking and prepping and doing all the work and never getting that vacation time and that quality time with my family because, yeah, they'd be there with me, probably supporting me. And but you're stuck between those 4 walls. And when you do get someone to help you run the business and to run it while you go away, I find they're never at least in the experiences I've had, is they're never as passionate as you are And so the quality of service and the quality of things go down while you're away. And in our business, I don't find that. Do you find that, Justin?
No, I mean, we're all independent contractors that work under the banner of World Financial Group. And we all have our own levels of accountability that we have to follow. And so, no, I mean, my agents within my team and organization, I would say, are some of the best trained in the industry. Our team, the Slight Edge Dream Team, in and of itself, is some of the best trained agents in the company. And we are so blessed to have that. So I don't really worry too much. Not to mention, I mean, there's a lot of internal processes provincially that we have to go through.
Absolutely.
I supervise all of our brand new licensed agents
That's so
for
much fun,
2 years.
right?
So I have to look over all of their paperwork before they submit anything, before they get approved. I have to sign off on everything. So I don't have to really worry too much about that. And if I miss it, I'm also blessed that we have a compliance department that catches anything that I miss.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You know
That's
what?
awesome.
I'm gonna be a little controversial here. You know, I never second guess where I am. I love where I am. I think that Royal Financial Group provides me with amazing possibilities. And it's just like, you know what? I could go work as a mortgage broker for XYZ company. I could go be a realtor for, you know, ANC Acme company. But at the end of the day, we're all under an umbrella. And, you know, when we're talking to people, sometimes they're like, oh, I Googled you. Well, but again, every office is independent. Justin, I just want your feedback on that. Like, oh, I Googled you. But you didn't Google Justin. You Googled not Justin.
Yeah, I just tell everyone to Google me.
Yeah,
Google
right?
Justin Fraser. You'll pop that up. You'll see a bunch of awards, recognition, bunch of really good things, great reviews by clients. Like,
Yeah,
I
Hmm.
mean, I don't really want to get into the aspects of it. I mean,
yeah.
there's good and bad people on all different aspects.
And that's
When
what I
you have
mean.
a
That's what I'm
company
trying to say.
that's growing as massively and as quickly as our company,
Yeah,
we're onboarding people from the traditional industry, left, right, and center.
yeah,
When you're a force to be reckoned with our company's compensation, bonus structure, ownership, everybody wants that.
yeah,
So
Hmm.
sometimes people fall through the cracks, but the nice thing about it is when the cracks get opened up and those people fall through, our compliance department and our regulatory bodies come in and they clean it up and they'll never be working in the financial services industry again.
exactly. That was kind of
Agreed.
beating around the
Yeah.
bush I was getting at. Thank you.
I love it, Justin. That's awesome. You know, over the years, you have really built what you're passionate about, you know, and you have put so much dedication and hard work into it, and you've created this sustainable multiple six-figure business. A question I have for you is what was the mind shift or mindset shifts that you made along the way, even just three very memorable ones that helped you to create that sustainable six-figure business for our listeners today that want to do the same?
Okay. Well, I've been talking on this one for a while, but I've been thinking about it in a little bit of reflection. So in 2022, or 2021, I crossed over six figures in income with the company, and it was about 120-ish thousand. And I started taking a look. I was forcing a lot of things. I was really frustrated. I was like, e- everyone else had timelines and deadlines within my business, and I took a look at that in 2022 and said, I really don't want my next 100,000 or my next multiple income, hundreds of thousands of dollars to be like that. It was affecting my marriage. It was affecting my relationships with teammates. I was just, I was just not happy.
Mhm.
So I made a decision that I was going to change a couple things. And in 2023, I had one of my worst years in business as a senior partner in the firm. I was going through some marital stuff. I was going through team stuff. I was just going through it because I was growing through 2023. 2022, I made a decision that what I was doing was not sustainable. I didn't want to do that for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years in my business. Um,
Mhm.
in 2023, the growth started happening, the changes started happening, and it was a little bit uncomfortable. It put me on my
Mm.
heels. But when you have a little bit of a setback and you're on one of those downsides of the business on the entrepreneurial roller coaster, I just kept doing the things that moved my business forward. I stayed consistent. I wasn't always motivated in 2023. I didn't have the the greatest mindset 100% of the time. And I was just like trying to patch my way together and rebuild what was broken. And fast forward into 2024, I listened to my senior leadership, my mentors, and my income grew 235% in a year.
Wow.
Like that's not incremental growth, that's exponential growth. But what did I focus on? Well, I focused on becoming a better me. I went to marriage counseling. I got good, like started getting better with my health. I focused in on all of those different areas that needed to be focused in on. I got better with my children. Me and my wife started working on parenting books together and how to raise amazing kids. And I can say now our kids are, they're 7 and 3, well, 7 here in a little bit and 3. They're amazing children, right? And we've just started, everything started clicking together in the beginning of 2024, and in 2025 it's just going to be insane with what happens. I mean, we just crossed 150. I think it was like beginning of December, at the end of November or something like that. We made an additional 50 grand in 2 months.
Wow.
So our goals right now have gotten a lot bigger because
Mhm.
we also have a team that's chasing us as well. And if I just stay at 200, a multiple six-figure income, that doesn't leave a lot of room for other people. I got people on my team that are chasing me and that want to beat me, which is exciting.
That's awesome. That healthy competition, right? It really sets a fire and it really gets that momentum going. And it not only benefits you, but it benefits others. And, for our listeners there, I don't know if you caught that, but what Justin was saying was he had to make a decision. And decide means to kill off. And that means to kill off your excuses. Okay. So he made a decision to look after himself, his mindset. We've had many, many podcasts on this before. The mental gym, right? Taking care of yourself and your family will allow you to have that positivity for that personal development and that growth, which will leak into all areas of your life. And this is where the real prosperity comes in, is because when you find prosperity in your daily grind and your daily things and you push past the negative, that's when it really truly opens up for all of the great things. And Justin has been working really hard on that. And that's why I'm so glad he's here today, is because he's the perfect example of pushing past the shit. And I'm just going to say it, and going for the positive and the growth and building those goals and those dreams. And now he's starting to achieve them. So Justin, what's your next big goal, and how close do you think you are to it?
um my next big goal is crossing over $250,000 a year with the company.
Oh, like you're so close to that.
And we are, right? It's just a matter of a couple decisions that we have to make. And I think those decisions have been made. um, and that will happen here within the next couple months.
Yeah.
But really what we're focused on over the next, income milestones are awesome. What we're really focused on is promoting senior partners within the company and firm. And right now there are 3 or 4 people, 1 or 2 that will happen for sure here in the next 60 days will hit their junior partner promotion with the company. And by the end of 2025, yeah, we will have promoted our first senior partner within the company, if not 2 or 3.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is so good. Yeah. I hope that our listeners today took a couple of notes. And, we'd love to hear from you in the comments. As always, we can get this stuff back to Justin. If you have any questions for him or myself or Charlene, make sure you put them in the comments, and also put in the comments what your biggest takeaway was from what Justin said, because he said so many things. Like, if I had have been taking notes, there probably would have been 3 or 4 pages. Thankfully, I have access to Justin all the time, so I don't need to take notes. I can just call him. But but if you guys have questions, make sure you ask them. And I really just appreciate everything you've said, Justin. If there is one more thing that you want to leave our listeners with, what is it?
Really what it comes down to is, if you're living a life of quiet desperation like I was before I found this company, place a bet on yourself. Match up, partner up with somebody. Doesn't need to be in this industry, but I'm a firm believer that nowadays your 9 to 5 will pay your bills, but your 5 to 9 is going to allow you to live the dream that you want to live. With inflation running rampant, taxes on top of taxes, us as Canadians are one of the worst taxed people in the world. It's brutal. And if you're looking for opportunities, go into business. It's worthwhile. It's a personal growth journey. Yes, you can make some great income, but I would recommend taking a look at something like our company and firm and working with some of us on here, because we were given an opportunity. I was given an opportunity a decade ago, and it's been one of the most worthwhile things that I've ever done in my life, and not just from a financial standpoint. The personal growth that I've grown into. I'm a better husband, I'm a better father, I'm a better friend, I'm a better mentor. I'm just overall better. And that was from getting to work.
You gotta go.
1 second. Getting to work in this industry and start learning from it. So that's what I would say. Place a bet on yourself. It's worthwhile. Learn about money and finances. And man, you never know what the next 5 years is going to look like. If you're happy with the last 5 years,
Awesome.
keep doing what you're doing. If you're not happy, you got to change something if you want the next 5 years to look different than the last.
And you know what? I think Justin said it too. Learn about money and finances, like regardless what you're doing, employee, student, entrepreneur. For God's sakes, people, go and learn about money, because they're not teaching it in high school. They're not teaching it to you at your traditional industries. There's a lot of stuff that people don't know, and you just don't know until you know. Just saying.
Wow. What a way to send our listeners off, Justin. Mic drop. If there was ever a moment, just like, boom, like nothing else needs to be said. You just said it. Summed it all up in 1 second. So again, thank you so much for your time, Justin. And thank you, Charlene, for hopping on here. Even though you're sick, our listeners really needed this today. I know that there are several people listening that want to hack a 6-figure income, and you can come learn from the best. And as I've said in previous podcasts, if this isn't the industry for you, that's fine, but interview your future, because whatever industry you're in, you want to make sure that the people who've been in it the longest are still happy. and you'll figure out what industry you're meant to be in. So thank you so much for listening. We are going to sign off today. We're going to let Charlene get some rest and Justin get back to his family and his work and his beautiful, beautiful life that he's building. And we will see you all next week.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much, Justin.
Bye.
See you later, Tanisha.
Bye.